Today I'm going to be making my own version of uni pasta using fresh uni, guanciale, sake, and fresh made pasta. And as usual, all the ingredients will be listed in the description box down below. Here we have some uni, fresh eggs, sake, cream, fresh pasta, guanciale, chives for garnish, and shallots, along with some pecorino cheese. The goal of this dish today is to make a nice stuffed agnolotti pasta, but with the flavors of a carbonara, enhanced with uni. For my uni pasta, I like to slice my guanciale in pretty thin slices. Then we're going to take half of a shallot and make a really fine dice with it, because we want the shallots to almost dissolve into the sauce. Be careful not to cut yourself. Then after that, we're going to go get some chives, and we're going to need about a tablespoon or so for garnish. A lot of uni pastas that I've had in the past or made in the past starts with this. We have some heavy whipping cream and about 3 rows of uni, which I'm going to use an immersion blender to blend together. Now we only want to go as far as to blend the uni into the cream. And as you can see, the uni lends its color to the cream, which should look like this when you're done. And this is where my uni pasta starts to become different than all the other uni pastas that you may have seen on menus. So we're going to whip this to stiff peaks, and in between you want to scrape down the sides of your bowl to make sure that all the uni cream gets whipped. And this is where the carbonara starts to come into play. So I did end up adding an extra egg yolk for a total of 4 egg yolks, and I grated about a 1/3 cup of pecorino and a couple twists of black pepper. Start to give this a whisk to make sure things are incorporated, but we're gonna go and whisk this over a double boiler, because what I really want to happen is I want to make almost like a sabayon, where the cheese starts to melt and you can see the consistency is nice and smooth. And to smooth it out even further, I'm going to add a little touch of this hot water to thin out our pecorino sabayon. This is the consistency you want to end up with. Nice, soft, velvety, and a bright yellow color. Now we're going to be adding about equal parts of our uni cream to our egg yolk pecorino sabayon and gently fold it into each other. Now this will give you all the flavors of a carbonara plus the enhancement of having uni in this dish, all the while not being as rich as a traditional carbonara pasta dish. Pro tip, when putting things into a piping bag, you want to put your piping bag into a glass. It makes it a lot easier to transfer whatever it is that you're going to be piping out. Now we're going to put our pasta filling into the refrigerator for at least an hour or until it firms up a bit. And here is some super gorgeous pasta that I made a few hours ago. I will link down in the description box below my recipe video for this beautiful pasta dough. Now if you have a KitchenAid, go ahead, use it. I just absolutely love using this hand crank pasta roller that I have, and all I'm doing is rolling out my pasta into sheets till about the second to the last thinnest setting. Making and rolling out fresh pasta is so therapeutic. This is my Zen therapy. And now we're gonna go and fill our pasta. As you can see, I'm just piping our filling onto the pasta, and I'm gonna brush a little bit of water on the other side of our pasta. What we're gonna do here is we're gonna fold it over and we're gonna make our agnolotti. Now be careful when making this particular pasta recipe. The filling is not as solid as, let's say, if you're gonna use a butternut squash puree or ricotta. There's a lot of air and a lot of liquid in here, so you have to work fast and be very careful. Now, if you have one of those ravioli molds, you can definitely go ahead and make this into raviolis instead of little agnolottis. Either way, that dish is gonna be pretty awesome. Now, if you've never made this pasta shape before, there's a lot of tutorial or full tutorial videos on YouTube that will go step by step to teach you how to make this. And once I'm done cutting all these little pastas, I like to let them rest on a sheet tray with semolina flour. That way they don't stick to the sheet tray or the plate, whatever you're using. Once you have all your little agnolottis made, we're gonna get some water, add some salt to it, get it up to a boil for our pasta. Meanwhile, we're gonna heat up a skillet over medium heat for our guanciale. When I cook guanciale for a carbonara, I usually like to add a little bit of water to help this along, but since we're making an uni pasta, I'm gonna add some sake. What I'm looking for is for the sake to help cook and soften the guanciale, render its fat, and also once the sake starts to evaporate, it's gonna leave behind its sugar, and the rendered fat is gonna help create a beautiful caramel. As you can see right here on the side of the pan, it's gonna make for a really rich sauce. Now, once you have your guanciale nice and crispy, you want to remove it and reserve it onto a paper towel. And then still in a medium heated pan, add your shallots. Give this a nice stir, and then we're gonna deglaze this with some of that pasta water. And as you can see, it's just picking up all the fond on the bottom, creating a really rich, deep, dark caramel color. Now, our little agnolottis do not take long to cook. They take about 45 seconds to a minute. You want to cook them till about they're 80% done, because we're going to finish cooking them in the sauce in the saute pan. I did turn the heat of the pan down to about a medium low as I'm adding the pasta to the sauce. I'm going to add a little bit more pasta water just to thin out the sauce a bit. As you can see, I'm just swirling the agnolottis around in the pan, making sure that the sauce is coating them. And at this point, when I'm going to thicken up the sauce with some Pecorino cheese, I did turn off the heat because we want the cheese to slowly melt. That way it emulsifies into the sauce instead of becoming stringy. Remember, the heat is turned off, and I'm going to grate in some more Pecorino cheese because I want to thicken up the sauce just a little bit more. And once that's done, I'm going to toss this. And as you can see, the sauce is nice and thick. It's getting into all the little crevices and coating the pasta and making it nice, slick and shiny. Now I'm going to turn the heat back on a little bit low, add the guanciale, give this a stir, and now we are ready to plate. You can see the sauce is nice and thick. Grab your favorite pasta bowl and go ahead, spoon this all right in the middle. And for those who are about to say, hey, don't use your spoon on that pan, don't worry, it's an anodized pan. It's safe to use metal utensils on, so don't get me for that. Make sure you get all the sauce and all the guanciale because you don't want to leave any of this deliciousness behind in the pan. And let's give our bowl a wipe, make sure it's clean, wipe our surface, and then garnish with some more fresh grated Pecorino. And then the star of the show, little bit more fresh uni right on top, just to make this dish a lot more decadent. Some fresh chopped chives, and I always like to finish my pasta with a little drizzle of extra virgin olive oil. And guys, look at this. We have it, my version of an uni pasta meets carbonara. I don't have a name for this dish yet, so I'm just gonna call it uni pasta. But look at what we have here: fresh pasta, fresh uni, crispy guanciale, a caramelized sake sauce. This is awesome. All right, guys, in the next upcoming scenes, I lost all the audio, so there's nothing I can do about it. So we're just gonna have to make do. Well, the vision of this dish that I had was uni pasta meets carbonara, which I think, judging from my face, which you can see, I nailed it. It came out exactly what I wanted: rich, creamy, briny, cheesy, but not as rich as carbonara. So you can definitely eat more of this and not feel weighted down. All right, guys, and that was my uni pasta video. Again, I am very, very sorry for the technical muck up, but I promise you I will make sure that it never happens again. And for those of you guys that stuck through the end, thank you for your patience, for your love and support. I really appreciate that, guys. Again, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Take care of yourselves, and as always, peace.